Welcome everyone. In previous lecture, which was the first lecture on mineral nutrition chapter, we discussed like what is hydroponics, what is aeroponics, what is mineral nutrition. 12.1 we discussed in lecture number 1. In lecture number 2, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss 12.2 topic which is there in NCERT. It is essential mineral elements. Essential mineral elements. Okay children, now how many elements are so far discovered? Come on, tell me, how many elements are so far discovered? 105 elements. NCERT says 105 elements are so far discovered. Now out of this 105 elements which are discovered, how many elements are found in plants? More than 60 elements plants will take it seems. Out of this 105 elements which are discovered, so more than 60 elements are found in different plants. Out of 105 elements discovered so far, more than 60 elements are found in different plants. Understood children till here? Now, how will the plants absorb minerals? That is a question. Most of the minerals are absorbed by the plant from the soil through the roots. Okay. So, how are the plants absorbing the minerals? So, most of the minerals are absorbed. They are absorbed by plant through roots. From the roots only they will absorb, from the soil only they will absorb. Most of the minerals are absorbed by the plant through roots from the soil. Let me write down from soil also. Now in the soil, if gold is there, it will absorb, and if selenium is there, it will absorb. Near to the radioactive test centers, if radioactive strontium is there, that also plant will absorb. Understood? So whatever is there in the soil, plant is absorbing it. Now the question is, whatever the 60 elements that the plants have absorbed, are all these elements essential for the plant or not? Now, how do you came to know that the plant has absorbed radioactive strontium also, plant has absorbed gold also, plant has absorbed selenium also? Means we have techniques, so which can determine the concentration of the mineral in a plant, even if the concentration of the mineral is very less, 10 power minus 8 grams per liter, even if it is at the concentration of. Many techniques are available which can detect the concentration. It can detect the concentration of mineral even at 10 power minus 8 grams per liter also. 10 power minus 8 grams per liter concentration also, it will be identified by techniques. Now we want to find out that 60 elements which plants are absorbing are all essential elements or not. Out of this 60 elements, more than 60 elements are found in plants, we told, right? So let us tell that 30 elements, okay, out of this 60 we are making half. 30 elements are found in all plants, it seems. So 60 are found in different plants. One plant is having this 30, another plant is having remaining 30, like that. 60 elements are found in different plants. Out of that, 30 elements are found in all plants. These 30 elements which are found in all plants, what are they called? They are called as essential universal elements. Right children? 30 elements which are found in all the plants are called as universal elements. Okay. Now, in this 30 universal elements, how many are essential? How many are non-essential? Means out of this 30, 17 are essential elements, and the remaining 13, right? And the remaining 13 are non-essential elements. Right, children? So 30 are there. In that 30, 17 are essential elements. 13 are non-essential elements. So what do you mean by 17 essential elements? And what do you mean by 13 non-essential elements? Now, 17 essential elements means if you don't give it to the plant, plant will show deficiency symptoms in absence of essential element. In absence of essential element, the plant will exhibit deficiency symptom. Plant will exhibit deficiency symptom. If the plant exhibits deficiency symptom, yes, then it is requiring, it is essential. Now, what are non-essential? Even in the absence also, plant will not show any deficiency because it is not required for the plant. Now, what are 13 non-essential elements? In absence also, plant will not show any deficiency symptom. Even in the absence of the element also, if the plant is not showing any deficiency, then children, it is non-essential. And if you don't give that, if the plant is showing deficiency, that means it is essential element. Now, out of this 17 essential elements, so out of this 17 essential elements, I will tell there are 9 macronutrients. And the remaining 17 minus 9 is 8. So 8 are micronutrients, or we can also call them as trace elements. Out of this 17 essential elements, 9 are macro, 8 are micro. Then what do you mean by macro element? The element which is required by the plant in more concentration is macro. The element which is required by the plant in less concentration is micro. Now, what are macronutrients? 9 are macro, 8 are micro. What are macro? Plant requires it in more concentration, then that is called macronutrient. What is micronutrient? Plant requires it in less concentration. Plant requires it in less concentration. Now, what is that more and less? If the plant requires it in more than 10 millimoles per kg dry matter, more means how much more? If it requires more than 10 millimoles per kg dry weight. If the plant requires that element in more than 10 millimoles per kg dry weight, it is macro element. If it requires the element in less than 10 millimoles per kg dry weight, it is micro element. What is micro element? So the requirement is less than 10 millimole per kg dry weight. If the element is required less than 10 millimoles, it is micro element. If the element is required more than 10 millimoles, it is macro element. Right, children? If you want me to list down the macro element, 9 elements also we will write down. The elements 8 micro elements also we will write down. I made a code like CHOMPNCKS is a code for 9 macro elements. 3 plus 3, 6 plus 3, 9. So the 9 macro elements are CHO, MPN, CKS. CHO, C for carbon, H for hydrogen, O for oxygen, M for magnesium, P for phosphorus, N for nitrogen. Again C came, calcium it is. Now K, potassium. S for sulfur. So the 9 macronutrients which are required by the plant in more than 10 millimoles per kg dry matter are CHO, MPN, CKS. CHO, for carbohydrates we give the formula CHO. Most probable number we will tell, like that the code is MPN, and CKS is that cricket team, right? So like that you remember, CHO, MPN, CKS is the code for macronutrients. Coming to micronutrients, 8 elements we have to give. We'll make a code called C square IBM square Zn. The code is 2 elements are here, C square, 3, 4, 2 elements are here, 5, 6, 7 and 8. The code which is for micronutrients is C square IBM square Zn. Now here carbon and calcium came. So what will come here? Copper will come, chlorine will come. Copper and chlorine. I for iron, okay. B for boron. M here magnesium came. The remaining M, manganese and molybdenum will come here. Manganese and molybdenum are micronutrients. Z for zinc, N for nickel. N for nickel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 micronutrients. Their concentration is less than 10 millimoles per kg dry matter. Let us have a quick recap what is there on the board, then we will go to the next board. So we are talking about our today's topic is essential mineral elements. How many elements are so far discovered? According to NCERT, they tell that there are 105 elements discovered so far. Out of this 105, how many elements are found in plants? 60, more than 60 elements are found in different plants. Now, how will the plant absorb the minerals? Most of the minerals are absorbed by the plant from the soil only with the help of the roots. Now, how do you came to know that minerals are there in the plant? You have many techniques. Even it can determine the concentration of the element, even if it is very less. How much less? 10 power minus 8 grams per liter concentration also it can determine, it can identify, tell that this material, this mineral is there in this plant, okay. Now out of 60 elements, children, 30 elements are found in all plants. 30 elements are found in all plants. Now those 30 elements which are found in all plants are called as universal elements. What are they called? They are called universal elements. Out of this 30 elements, how many are essential? How many are non-essential? 17, right? 17 are essential and the remaining 13 are non-essential. What do you mean by essential? Means it is required for the growth and development. If you don't give it, the plant will show deficiency. That is called essential element. What is non-essential element? Even it is not required, even if you don't give also, plant will not say anything, plant will not exhibit any deficiency symptom. That is called non-essential element. Again, in this 17 essential elements, we are dividing them into 9 and 8. 9 are macronutrients, it seems. 8 are micronutrients. The name itself tells macro means which is required by the plant in more concentrations. How much more? More than 10 millimoles per kg dry matter are macro. 8 are micronutrients. They are also called trace elements. Micro means they are required by the plant in less concentrations. How much less? Less than 10 millimoles per kg dry matter. It is micronutrients. Now we have to make some code so that we can remember it for a long time. What are the 9 macronutrients? I divide them into 3, 3 and 3. CHO, MPN, CKS, right? CHO. C for carbon. H for hydrogen. O for oxygen. M for magnesium, P for phosphorus, N for nitrogen, C for calcium, K for potassium, S for sulfur. These 9 are required by the plant in more concentrations. Now 8, the code what I have made is C square IBM square Zn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C stands for copper, chlorine. I for iron, B for boron, M for magnesium, molybdenum, Z for zinc, N for nickel. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Right? Now, we understood now what are universal elements, what are essential elements, what are non-essential elements, we understood. Now let us see what are mineral elements and what are structural elements. So there are so many different terms here, that's why the chapter is mineral nutrition. So different names of minerals we are going to see now, right? Now, the minerals which are absorbed by the plant through the soil is called as mineral elements. Okay, so minerals which are absorbed from soil. Okay, what are they called? Mineral elements. Now, how is soil formed? Pedogenesis, right? From the rock, by the process of weathering, soil is formed. When the soil is formed, minerals are added. Now, from that soil, if the plant takes that mineral, then they are called mineral elements. There are some elements which are not taken by the plant through the soil, but plant will take it in the form of CO2 and water from the atmosphere. Okay, so minerals, or we'll write down it as elements. Elements which are taken as CO2 and water from the atmosphere. From the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide and water, if the plant is taking, then they are called non-mineral elements. They are called non-mineral elements. Understood, children? Now, how many are essential, Amma? So, 105 are discovered, out of which more than 60 in different plants, out of which 30 are universal in all plants, out of which 17 are essential and 13 are non-essential. In that 17 essential, 9 are macronutrients and 8 are micronutrients, right? Now, in this 17 only, or among this 9 macronutrients, we can tell that 3. What are those 3? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen are taken in the form of carbon dioxide and water from the atmosphere, and they are called non-mineral elements. Means CHO, what are they called? Non-mineral elements. Out of 17, 3 are non-mineral elements. That means 14 are mineral elements, right? So that means leftover 6 plus 8. 6 plus 8, 14 are there. 14 are mineral elements which are absorbed by the plant from the soil. Understood, children? Which are absorbed by the plant from the soil are called as mineral elements. These three are non-mineral elements. Carbon dioxide and water, in the form of carbon dioxide and water, they absorb them. And what do they make? They make the cell walls, they make the structural molecules, cell wall, cell membrane, all the components. So that is why CHO, they are called non-mineral elements. They are also called structural elements. They are called framework elements also. Amma, what are the names we told? We are telling these CHO, they are called non-mineral elements. Why are they called non-mineral elements? Because they are not absorbed from the soil, they are absorbed from the atmosphere. Why are you calling them as structural elements? Because they make structural compounds of the plant and they give the framework for the plant. They make the backbone of the plant. That's why they are called framework elements. Okay, children? Now, coming to the non-essential elements. Non-essential elements, how many are there? 13 are there. Out of these non-essential elements, again we can tell 4 elements are there and the remaining 9 elements are there. Now these 4 elements are called beneficial elements. What are the 4 elements called? Beneficial elements. And the remaining 9 are called non-beneficial elements. What are the 9 called? Non-beneficial elements. Now, what are the examples of these beneficial elements? Again, we can make a code called C cube CO. The code is C cube CO, S cube CO. One element is sodium. The second element is selenium. The third element is sodium, selenium, and in NCERT they have given sodium, selenium, and silicon. Silicon. And the fourth element is cobalt. The fourth element is cobalt. Sodium, selenium, silicon and cobalt, they come under beneficial elements. Then again, what is this beneficial? You understood what is essential, what is non-essential. Essential means it is required. If you don't give, plant shows deficiency symptoms. Non-essential, if you don't give also, plant will not exhibit any deficiency symptoms. Under this non-essential, 4 are beneficial. If you don't give, plant will not exhibit any deficiency symptom, but if these 4 are there, plant grows better. Now, without these classes also, you can study, but with these classes, you can understand better, right? So, in the same manner, in the presence of these 4 elements, plants will grow better. That is why they are called beneficial symptoms. But if we don't give these 4, plant will not exhibit any deficiency symptoms. Understood? Then the remaining 9 are non-beneficial elements. Understood, children? So we made codes for macronutrients and micronutrients. What is our code for micronutrient? Come on. So we made a code that C square IBM square Zn, right? C square IBM square Zn is the code for micro. And what is the code for macro? The code for macro is CHO, MPN, CSK or CKS is the code for macro. For beneficial element, our code is S cube CO, sodium, selenium, silicon and cobalt, right? Understood till here? Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right, children? Now, so what did we discuss so far? Some are essential, some are non-essential, some are beneficial, some are non-beneficial, some are structural, some are mineral, some are non-mineral, right? And 2 more terms are there. Let me tell you those 2 more terms also. Right? Now, some elements, they move from the senescent parts to the younger parts, then they are called mobile elements, right? So, some elements which move from the older means senescent parts. From the senescent parts, if it moving from the senescent parts to the younger parts, if it is moving to the younger parts, then those elements are called mobile elements. The elements which move off from the older parts, dying parts, to the younger parts before they drop down are called mobile elements. Example for mobile elements, we can take NPKs. Right, so these are examples of mobile elements. So we can tell nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur are examples of mobile elements, right? So they are mobile elements. While other elements which cannot move, the other elements which cannot move are called non-mobile elements. What are they called? They are called non-mobile elements. Example for non-mobile element is calcium. Example for non-mobile element is calcium. Understood till here? Any clarity? What did we discuss in today's class? We discussed about how many elements are there in the atmosphere, how many elements are there in the environment, out of which how many are essential, how many are non-essential, how many are beneficial, non-beneficial, their names, how many are mobile, how many are non-mobile, we discussed. In the next class, we'll talk about criteria of essentiality, and we will continue with the remaining topics. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.